Hello friendly human, I have a couple of questions for you. Do you like a game that is not telling you what to do? Do you like being challenged? Do you want to have thrilling combat? And most importantly, do you love the SNES era as much as I do? If we answered yes to these questions, then Tunic is the right game for you. Let's get this right out of the way. Tunic's clear inspirations are the old Zelda games from the NES and SNES era. And that is only a good thing. Tunic doesn't even try to hide it, and you realize that in the first seconds of the game. You play a cute fox that is washed up on the coast and will get no explanation whatsoever on what you have to do and where you have to go. From there you will get a stick as a weapon pretty soon, and your adventure is about to begin. On your journey you travel through a beautiful world full of charm and danger. The incredible low-poly art style presents itself with colorful environments and lovely vistas while keeping the world interesting and areas varied. The world of Tunic managed to suck me in completely, and I just wanted to spend more and more time running around and finding secrets. Speaking of finding secrets, Tunic's biggest strength is exploration. Everything you find in this game is useful. It doesn't matter if you find bombs, upgrade materials, a new tool, which can be completely optional by the way, or just a currency. You can put everything to good use. And when you don't find items, but pay close attention to your surroundings, you will probably find a secret passage that either leads to a treasure or a new area. Or sometimes the secret passage you find is actually a shortcut in some way that gives you more ways to traverse the world. This feeling of finding a secret passage and always being rewarded with something useful is incredibly satisfying. And I think the reason why it is so satisfying to me is because Tunic makes me feel smart. It doesn't really give me a visual hint or something to where I could find a secret shortcut. I think that design-wise this is really clever. The feeling of reward is so much stronger than it would be if I just followed a marker on a map. But also this is a very brave decision that the developer made. He's taking a risk that not everybody would uncover all the secrets. And while playing, you know that. This is a clever way of making the player interact with the world more and giving the game a good replay value. But after talking about how you figure out stuff on your own, and how you don't really get hints for finding stuff, I don't want you to get the wrong impression. Tunic has an extremely clever way of giving you a little bit of guidance. During your adventure you will find pages of a manual that are reminiscent of old game manuals. Each page gives you a clue to certain mechanics, either very basic like the controls, or pretty specific stuff. I won't give you an example, trust me, figuring out what a manual page is trying to tell you all on your own? Ooh, again, just satisfying. The best parts for me were when I tried to understand what I have to do at certain spots, then gave up trying, and then later found a page that gave me the missing clue I needed to solve the puzzle. Of course, Tunic is not a game only about exploration and puzzles. Half of the time you face dangerous enemies and bosses. And here's where Tunic shines again, because combat feels like a mix of past Zelda games and Dark Souls. On the one hand, the inspiration of past Zelda games is clear. You more or less get a toy weapon in the beginning, here it is a stick, and a better version soon after. And surprise! You find the best sword in the game in the woods, just like the Master Sword. Also, you find tools that you can use in combat as well as in the environment to get to new places. On the other hand, I can see why people are drawing comparisons to Dark Souls. You lock onto your enemy, dash to avoid attacks, and dashing consumes stamina. Each enemy you defeat drops the currency, and when you die you lose a bit of your hard-earned money and spawn at the last checkpoint. Checkpoints on the other hand refill your health, but also respawns enemies. And the most obvious similarity to Dark Souls, damage is high, and you have to get good. Especially bosses can be a real challenge, and you have to learn the attack patterns to defeat them. A few of the later bosses took me more than 20 attempts to beat them, but after I did, I got the same sweet feeling of victory as in From Software games. Overall, combat is fun and feels tight. Although I needed a few attempts for some of the bosses, I always knew what I did wrong and boss fights never felt cheap, so it was always motivating to come back to the fight and try to avoid the mistakes I made before. So don't judge the book by its cover, trust me. Even if Tunic looks cute, it can hit hard. And of course, I cannot talk about Tunic without talking about the amazing music in this game. The soundtrack is composed by an artist called Lifeform and Zelda-clone. It's mostly a mix of beautiful piano and memorable synth sounds. The tracks range from peaceful and magical to upbeat and more aggressive. It always fits the situation and the area you are in and gives the game a unique atmosphere of being alone in a fantastical world full of things to explore and dangers to overcome. The soundtrack is on Spotify and I would totally recommend you checking it out. I know, this may sound cheesy, but Tunic made me feel like a child again. Exploring the world with all the secrets is a wonderful journey with so many satisfying wow moments. Combat is simple yet fun and challenging and always fair, and the music made me put my controller to the side and just listen. I would recommend Tunic to anyone who likes to figure out stuff on their own, who likes the challenge of games like Dark Souls with fun combat, and who loves games like A Link to the Past. Tunic is magical and one of the best games that came out in 2022. Thanks for watching. Have you played Tunic yet, or do you plan to do so? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews of upcoming games, and leave a like if you enjoyed this review. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.